There he is. Nathaniel, how are you? Thank you for doing this, and I apologize for the delay.
No worries. I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I see you're back in the familiar. I guess you guys call it the flat of one Brad Pickett. Would that be called flat, or is that just for an apartment? What's the proper term?
This is his house. It's
His
a four
house.
bedroom
Okay.
house, but this is their caveman room. So
Okay.
it's Brad's room. In the tour right now, there's all these Star Wars figures around, and you know, there's most importantly, little picture of us.
Oh, I love that.
Uh,
That is great. It's funny because if no
yeah,
one knew, they would think it's like you're in like a 10-year-old's room with all those toys in back of you.
yeah, pretty much. But yeah, no, I haven't got Skype or anything, so we do it from his computer.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. And congratulations on the debut. What a fight, what a performance, what a comeback. First, I see your face. The black eyes, the nose look a little bit busted. Any serious injuries? What could you tell us about what you suffered in that fight, if anything of note?
The nose, I think, is broken.
Okay.
I've had it broken before, but they said it's an acute fracture, so
Ooh.
nothing too serious. But it's a bit swollen up and stuff. But it's not a fight if you don't come out with little fight injuries after. So it was all worth it.
So no surgery needed?
No, no. Well, I
Okay.
don't think so. I've still got to see the specialist, but I've had it broken before, and it's all still in place. It's just a bit swollen, a bit stuffy, but I'll I'll live and I'll move on.
That happened obviously in the first round, correct? Oh, hello there. How are you? Nice to see you back. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
that, that was yeah, that was in the first round, I believe. And then that night, I was actually sick. When I was sick, it made my eye puff out as well.
Oh.
So it was a bit weird. My eye when I come out of the fight was swollen, and then that night I was sick, and because I was sick and a lot of blood went to my head, my eye ended up coming right out. But it's as I say, I got the win, so that was the main thing. These little injuries mean nothing to me.
What were you thinking in between the first and second round after that first round where it seemed like he had you in a tough spot, he had rocked you. Were you aware of what's going on? Do you remember what was being said to you? Were you nervous that this was your debut and it was not going the way you had dreamed of?
No, I was absolutely fine. I was a bit dazed, obviously, from the shot he threw, but that's how I like to fight. I like to get in the fight. So for me, I was ready for round two, and I was just working out how I was going to knock him out. I didn't expect him to go for a takedown, but obviously he did. He felt like he needed to do that. So I knew that as soon as he goes for that, I've got other tricks up my sleeve. But when the second round, when we came back in from the second round, in my head, I was just thinking, right, how am I going to put this guy out and get a knockout of the night?
You didn't end up getting the knockout. You ended up getting an amazing Darce choke. Before I ask you about that, though, how close was he? And I don't know if you can even answer this question, but how close was he to finishing you in the first round? Was it ever close?
Um, I don't believe so. If unless the ref stopped it quick, I
Yeah.
was still in the fight. I was still there, and I still had a lot more to go. So for me, I could have kept going until the end of the bell. So unless the ref decided that he thought he needed to step in, I was still good to go, mate.
The Darce, was that something that you were looking for? Did you see openings when he shot in? Did you feel like he was susceptible to that?
No, that's just one of my go-to submissions. When guys shoot in and I sprawl and I end up in that arm in and around position. That's just one of the moves that I'm very good at. I do a lot of jiu-jitsu with my coach Ashley Grimshaw, and that's one of the setups that we go through. So when I ended up in that position, I was confident that I was going to get it. It was just a matter of how long it would take me to set it up.
Now that you've actually experienced what it's like in the UFC, does it feel different? I mean, you fought in front of your hometown crowd, so that is a special experience in its own right. But to be there in the cage with the lights, it says UFC in there. You go through the whole experience. Does it feel different from fighting in Cage Warriors as a champion?
Um, no, it just feels right. It just feels like it's supposed to be. Um, Yeah, it didn't feel any different. You know, once I was in the fight's a fight, so it doesn't matter whether it's just me and Johnny in there or whether there's 100,000 people there. You know, for me, it's the same thing. So yeah, you know, it just felt right, but it felt good to be there. You know, fight week felt different. That felt good, and you know, just seeing the other UFC fighters around and stuff, it felt like I was in a dream.
Like you belonged, perhaps.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Did it help having Brad there, who's so familiar with the the system and the way the whole machine works? Did you feel like that was an advantage?
Yeah, 100%. You know, even the lead up to the UFC for the last couple of years, I feel like I've already been there because of what everything Brad's told me. You
Mm.
know, even all the stories he's told me and any questions I had. Just like when we were signing the posters, I said to Brad, "Do I get one of them?" And he said, "Yeah, at the weigh-ins they'll give you one." You know, and so be it. When I went to the weigh-ins, they had the posters all folded up in a nice little container for me. So you know, he literally he couldn't hit it on the head even better. You know, anything that I asked, he told me it came true and happened.
And I like the fact that you guys you kept the ritual of him slapping you before the fights. I like that you didn't let that go now that you're in the UFC.
Nah, that's the winning formula, you know. So we're gonna stick to that for now.
A clip surfaced. You tweeted it, and I want to just play it very quickly for those who may have missed it because it's an amazing clip. I watched it a couple of times. This is the reaction, and then on the back end you can set it up for where it happened. This is the reaction of a bunch of Nathaniel Wood's fans exploding when he picked up the win on Friday. Here's the clip. That is amazing. I mean, I see a kid flying in the air there. Someone's holding up a kid all the way in the sky. It's amazing. And they start chanting your name. It's just a beautiful scene. It gives me goosebumps. I can't imagine. What is it like when you first saw that? What was your reaction to seeing
Hey,
people that happy for you?
Brad showed me when we got back to our room that night, and I'm not afraid to say that I actually had a tear in my eye. You know, it was an amazing feeling to just see everyone at home. You know, I knew a lot of people were gonna get together anyway, but you know, to actually see everyone and how ecstatic they were when I got the win, you know, it meant a lot to me. And yeah, you know, I did actually get a little bit teary over it.
Where was that?
That was just at one of the locals around the
Wow.
local social club that I have by mine, one of my sponsors, North Cheam Sports and Social. And, you know, they were just playing the fight for friends and family and everyone that could go. And, you know, obviously everyone turned up and, you know, but mate, that's just a small amount of the amount of support that I've got behind me. So, you know, when the UFC decides to come back to England, you know, I'm going to have a hell of a lot more support there.
And that actually leads me very, very nicely into my next question. For the life of me, and I've tried to figure this out, I cannot figure it out. Why was Nathaniel Wood, Cage Warriors champion, man who is beloved in England and in particular in London, why was he fighting in Utica, New York, 5 days after the UFC in Liverpool? How does this make any sense? How did they not have a spot for you? It wasn't like you were a short notice replacement injury. Why were you not fighting 5 days prior in Liverpool?
I know. You got your guess is better than mine, but you know maybe the UFC are thinking of it that you know if they put me on that Liverpool card now, I'm not necessarily a big name, you know. So if they put me on a few UFC events before they come back, when they do come back, I'll even be a bigger star. So that's you know what I'd like to think, and that's the kind of the smart way I'd think of it. But you know maybe they just needed a space and they needed someone to fill in and fight Johnny Eduardo and you know, maybe that was the call that they wanted for me. And, you know, but either way, I was just happy to get in there and, you know, make my UFC debut.
Were you like? I mean, obviously you're happy, but was it a bit bittersweet? Were you annoyed that you couldn't debut in your home country?
No, 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 not annoyed, you know, just a little bit gutted that I couldn't have friends, family and stuff there. But, you know, mate, it was a dream come true just to get my UFC debut. So, you know, I can't complain, honestly.
his name escapes me, but there's a young man who tweeted that he was flying from London to come see you fight in person.
AJ,
But what's his name?
AJ Wakeford. He's my
Yeah.
sponsor, Red King Resourcing.
Okay, so this guy and he was late and his flight was delayed and I was rooting for him and then he tweeted me that he made it. So this is actually so I thought he was just a fan. This is someone that you actually know?
Yeah, so he's one of my sponsors that I've got. You know, he's a big MMA fan, goes to all the events, and he was coming out on his own just for that one night, just to see me fight. And funny enough, I wasn't actually allowed to bring my UK flag out because it had the prospect over it, and it was something to do with I don't know whether it was the sponsors or whatever. I couldn't have it. So he actually brought the England flag with him, but he got there that late that I didn't manage to get it when I walked out for my fight. But
Ah.
luckily, you know, he was there just at the end, so he managed to throw it in for me when I was in the cage, and you know, I got to celebrate with my England flag on.
What were you
Thanks to
bummed?
him.
Were you bummed when they took it away, your flag?
Yeah, I was upset, you know, and then I thought I'll get one out here anyway, but there was nowhere selling flags, so you know, I didn't manage to get anything.
It's hard to get an English flag in Utica.
Yes, it is.
Now,
There's not many shops out here.
that's right. That's right. I'm sure that's probably the first time you've ever been to Utica, and you know, with no, you know, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but you're not itching to go back there anytime soon.
No, you know, when I went out there, the people were really friendly, super friendly. You know, a lot more friendly than where I'm from. Um, but there wasn't much out there. You know, there wasn't much to see. You know, when I heard I was in New York, I was expecting I don't know the capital. You know,
Oh yeah.
but I forget how big New York is. So, you know, literally we spent days just going to Walmart and getting Wi-Fi and just mooching around, doing nothing, looking at food that I couldn't eat. You
Oh.
know, so once I had my fight, there was plenty of food out there. That's for sure. You know, they do good food there. But until that moment, you know, there wasn't much for me to do. So I spent a lot of the time just on my phone and, you know, just watching TV and stuff in the hotel.
You've had some amazing fights, especially as of late. You know, some comeback victories, round of the year. This was an incredible fight. Of course, you had the very quick one in your last fight. But are you hopeful now to maybe take a little less damage in these fights now to make these fights a little more like the last one, as opposed to the the debut or the one last year that was up for fight and round of the year?
Yeah, I'm never looking to take damage. You know, I like to be in exciting fights, but I'm not there to take damage. But if I'm honest with you, Ariel, I've had 22 fights all in all now, and there's only two fights that have come out with some damage, and that was the other day and the Josh Reed fight. Other
Okay.
than that, I've never come out with concussion. I've never been rocked. I've had a fractured nose. Other than that, nothing. You know, I'm fresh as a daisy. I've had no injuries, touch wood. I've had no surgeries, no knee injuries, nothing. So, you know, for 25 years old, I've been in the game for 9 years. And, mate, I reckon I've got a good solid 10, 15 years left in me.
Okay. Well, I certainly wish the best to you. So, when do you want? How much of a break do you want to take? When do you want to return? Do you? I mean, have you allowed yourself to even think about that yet?
Yes, well, I would like to. You know, I've got to take my girlfriend on holiday. You know, I've got to spend some time with her. Otherwise, I think she'll leave me. So, you know, I'm going to take a little bit of time off. I think I'll have the next month, 2 months where I'm, you know, maybe not in fight camp. And then, you know, I'd like to see where the UFC are coming back to Europe after their Germany card. You know, I don't know if they've got any dates for October, November, but if they had a European card in October, November, that for me would be perfect. Um, you know, I'm assuming they never. Obviously, you can never tell when they will come back, but they usually come to England, London, sort of February, March time. You know, so I'd like to get one more in before then, and then yeah, you know, I'd definitely like to get one in before Christmas. If I could have Christmas off, then get back in there February, March for that London card, that would be, you know, that'd be my dream plan out.
Who's the ideal opponent for the next one?
Anyone,
Anyone?
anyone they want me to fight, I'll fight. You know, anyone that is going to put me in that top 10 radar. You know, I want to start chasing for the belt. People might say, "Oh no, you've only been in the UFC, you've had one fight," but skill-wise, I believe that I'm there to handle anyone. Johnny Eduardo was ranked 10th or 9th in his last fight,
Hmm.
and I just beat him in the second round. So if you want to go by rankings, where does that put me? So, I'm there to just get to the top, mate. So, if Sean Shelby and the UFC give me an opportunity at TJ Dillashaw tomorrow, I'll take it with both hands.
I wish you the best, Nathaniel. Very happy for you. Congratulations on the win. A thrilling victory, a great comeback victory, a great submission as well. I hope that you recover quickly, and I hope that we get to see you back in there sooner rather than later because your fights are very entertaining. It's been great watching you for the last couple of years here. So I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.